There's a never-ending torrent of data coming over the next decade. And just as big oil companies led the stock market gains of the Industrial Revolution, the biggest gains of the millennial generation will come from big data companies. In this video, I'll share my #1 stock to make a killing in this massive trend. In short, it's a new data refinery poised to deliver 1,000% profits in the coming decade. The company is called Snowflake, and its ticker is SNOW. Snowflake is chasing down the biggest prize in all of software, becoming the data refiner for every company on the planet. I'm calling it the next Microsoft. If Snowflake achieves its targets, it has a real shot at becoming a $1 trillion disruptor by 2025. That would give you 10 times return from today's price. Now, let's look at why data is the new oil and why Snowflake is at the forefront of this disruption. Digital oil. A couple years back, The Economist magazine ran a story about how data has surpassed oil as the world's most valuable resource. The 20th century's most powerful companies got rich selling oil. Rockefeller's Standard Oil was the world's first billion-dollar company. And by 1980, oil giants accounted for 7 of the 10 largest firms in the world. Oil was the face of America's old commanding heights. It drove the economy for decades, and oil stocks turned tens of thousands of investors into millionaires. Today, the world's most powerful firms aren't pumping thick, black liquid out of the ground. Instead, they're raking in trillions of dollars catching and crunching digital data. Search pioneer Google raked in $135 billion from selling online ads last year. It has mastered the art of collecting your personal information and using it to figure out who you are and what you're likely to buy. For example, try doing a Google search for a ski vacation. Chances are ads for skis, mittens, and lift tickets will start following you around the internet. Ever gotten an email from Amazon with a list of items that you want? The online shopping pioneer created a tool which sends you recommendations based on your viewing history. Get this, Amazon generates 1/3 of its sales from these emails. That's why data is the new oil. It's the vital resource that keeps the economic machine chugging along. But data is like oil in more ways than one. When oil is first sucked out of the ground, it's raw, useless muck. It has to be purified before we pump it into our gas tanks. Data must also be refined before we can use it. Companies collect mountains of information about customers. A retailer like Target has digital warehouses full of data such as age, income, and spending habits. The goal is to transform this information into insights that can boost sales. But refining it into a finished product requires lots of heavy lifting. Just gathering and cleaning the data can take up to 80% of a data scientist's time. For example, analysts at video game maker EA Sports used to spend 9 to 12 hours each day moving information around. Crunching this ever-growing pile of data also costs big bucks. Glassdoor just named data scientist as the best job in America for the 3rd year running. The average starting salary is $110,000. In short, the #1 most valuable skill a company can have today is the ability to collect, refine, and interpret data. This one skill turned Amazon, Google, and Facebook into stock market dominators. Problem is 99.5% of businesses don't have the money, manpower, or expertise to unlock the valuable secrets hidden in their data. The next Microsoft. Bill Gates had a vision to put a computer on every desk and in every home. By 1980, computers were advancing rapidly, but they still had one big problem. You had to be a coding whiz to use one. Remember the IBM PC and its green-on-black screen? If you wanted to move files around, you couldn't simply drag and drop the icon. Instead, you had to type in lines of command, code, and hope you guessed right. This kept computers restricted to sci-fi geeks and enthusiasts. Bill Gates knew it didn't have to be this way. In 1985, Microsoft rolled out the first Windows operating system. Windows hid all the complex programming, making PC accessible for the average Joe. And this simple shift changed the world forever. It ignited the computer revolution, which created hundreds of millions of new jobs and trillions in new wealth over the following decades. Microsoft made computers accessible and made investors rich. Snowflake has achieved a similar breakthrough with data. Remember, turning raw information into valuable insights takes lots of cash and know-how. Snowflake handles all the grunt work, making it easier to find needles of insight from endless fields of haystacks. Its powerful software works like a vacuum, sucking up raw data strewn across all nooks and crannies. It then crunches this never-ending feast of data and organizes it in a way that anyone can easily analyze and derive insights from. Users simply log into Snowflake, and in a few clicks can whip up insights from the deluge of data pouring in 24/7. A Silicon Valley-based software developer recently told me Snowflake makes big data work the way you'd imagine it worked if you didn't spend so much time actually analyzing data. In fact, Snowflake hit a milestone in 2021 by processing 1 billion queries in just 24 hours. The company completely changes what's possible with data. One of the UK's largest grocery chains, Sainsbury's, said, query times have plunged from 6 hours to 3 seconds, and head of data analytics for Japan's largest online retailer Rakuten said, Snowflake produces a 95% faster runtime compared to previous solutions. Important insights can now be discovered in minutes, not days. And unlike existing solutions, there's no limit to the volume of data Snowflake can handle. In short, Snowflake is the world's premier data refinery. And the disruptor has a stranglehold on the lifeblood of America's new commanding heights. Disrupting a trillion-dollar giant. The disruptor now has more than 5,000 customers, which has more than doubled over the past year. Its impressive customer list, ranging from tech companies like DoorDash, Square, and Adobe, finance giants like Capital One, and media powerhouses Sony, Electronic Arts, and Comcast. These firms now do their data crunching on Snowflake's platform. In other words, Snowflake has seized the most important part of the cloud business. Sure, cloud providers like Amazon will still get paid for renting out servers, but soon companies won't even know or care which cloud they're using. All the valuable work will happen inside Snowflake. Because of that, it boasts a revenue retention rate of around 170%. That means for every $100 customers spent with Snowflake last year, they forked out about $170 this year. Today, Snowflake is a small company, raking in around $1 billion a year. It's clear the disruptor has become the world's premier data refinery. But you're likely thinking, how big can it really get? Snowflake is expensive by traditional valuation metrics. But as you know, the faster a company is growing, the more investors are willing to pay for it. And Snowflake is the fastest growing company of its size in America. Snowflake has a large market to service. Its total addressable market is more than $90 billion. Because of that, Snowflake's growth rate has exceeded 100% for 3 years straight. That triple-digit revenue growth comes from Snowflake still increasing its customer count of large customers at a rapid rate, which shows that the company's end market very much highly values Snowflake's services. Snowflake is also pioneering a whole new industry that allows companies to seamlessly share data with each other. The world is drowning in data. Over 2.5 quintillion bytes of data are created every day. That's 2.5, followed by 17 zeros. Every modern company sits on a treasure trove of valuable insights today. The problem is, the data is mostly siloed. Think about it like this. Every company has warehouses full of data, but shipping it to other warehouses is slow and expensive. Snowflake's new data cloud and marketplace transforms this. Companies like Domino's, PepsiCo, DoorDash, and Comcast use Snowflake's tools to transform raw data into valuable insights. These companies control their own private pools of data today. Snowflake's new data marketplace allows it to easily share pools of insights with each other at the click of a button. This might sound boring, but it's incredibly powerful. It allows firms like S&P 500 Market Intelligence to create new lines of business renting out their insights. Financial powerhouses like Allianz, AXA SA BlackRock, Capital One, Square, and State Street have already signed up for Snowflake's marketplace. Snowflake charges customers by usage. So the more they use Snowflake's tools, the more money the disruptor rakes in. The data cloud and marketplace represents a multi-billion-dollar opportunity for Snowflake over the next decade. With a record number of client signups in 2021, we can expect Snowflake to crush earnings in 2022. Plus, its profit margin is also improving. It shows that revenues are substantially outrunning its operating expenses. When you find a winning stock, you should keep add to it. It's a disruptor you want to own for the long run. Thanks for watching our video.